Are you satisfied with your understanding of sustainability? If you are not, imagine a journey together, a pluralistic one, with academia, innovators, startups, NGOs, all looking for solutions to the greatest challenge of our time. My name is Samuele Tini, and this is the Sustainability Journey. Welcome to another episode, and today I'm pleased to welcome a leader, somebody that is doing a lot in the academia to foster the new generation of leader. With his B Corp Clinic, a B Corp enthusiast, Jessica Yinka Thomas, she's the co-founder of B Academics, and she's also a professor. Your curriculum is wonderful. Thank you so much, Jessica, for being with us today.
Samuele, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm excited to have a co-leader, co-board member, the academics, to have a chance to have this conversation with you.
You have so much, and I think the work of the academics, it's really important. But as usual, before that, we want to know your story. What is your sustainability journey?
This is such a great question and such a wonderful opportunity to reflect really on the trajectory of my life. And so I have to go all the way back to the very beginning and really, to my parents who played such a critical role just in my, my development and my journey. My father was an economist and a diplomat working in agriculture-focused economic development across Africa. He's Nigerian. And my mother was a computer scientist, helping to build, just computing infrastructure around the world. And she's American. And I grew up kind of going back and forth between the US and West Africa, living in Nigeria and Miami, and living in Senegal, in Dakar, Senegal, and Washington, DC. And for me, it was always obvious. I would take all of the resources, all the opportunity I was given to make the world a better place. And so I started out my professional career designing educational children's toys for a company called Leapfrog, helped grow that company from a startup to the third largest toy company in the US when I left, and then transitioned into a role in academia. And so for the last 20 years, I've been studying and teaching about social entrepreneurship, business sustainability, and more recently for the last 14 years, really studying B corporations, because for me, I see education, I see academia as really the biggest opportunity to drive change on a systemic level, on a global level, when I think about the power of educating and inspiring the next generation of business leaders.
It's really important, and you really touch the core point. We talk about businesses, we talk about maybe the government, we talk about civil society, but academia sometimes is left behind. But academia is creating the leader of the future. So how can academia be an agent of change? How we can do that?
Absolutely. This is such a key question, because we have this unique opportunity. We have these, inspired young minds. And sometimes, we have professionals. I work with undergraduate students. I work with MBA students who are at different points across their careers. So not just young minds, but people who are looking for opportunities, right, to learn, to develop, to transform themselves. And so we have this really unique opportunity to impact our students at, different stages of their careers and provide them with the tools, right, with the frameworks, with the education to think about how they can use business as a force for good, whether they're going to go on to be entrepreneurs, whether they're going to go into sustainable business and help strengthen its impact, or whether they're going to go into a traditional corporate environment and really think about the role that they can play as change makers and how they can see, right, the challenges that we face as a global community, as a local community, social challenges, environmental challenges, how they can turn those challenges into opportunities for businesses. And so we are, we're informing and inspiring the next generation of leaders, of investors. We're informing the next generation of consumers, of policymakers, right, of community members. And I think academia has a unique opportunity to be a connector across all of those other sectors as well, right? And so to think about how can we engage business, right, in education? How can we engage, policymakers in education? How can we engage, NGOs? How can we work across sectors, right? Bring that cross-sector approach into the classroom, give our students an opportunity to get outside of the classroom, right, into the real world and see, right, how they can be a part of really shifting our economic system into one that doesn't just benefit shareholders, right, but an economic system that benefits stakeholders more broadly and is really seeking to make the world a better place, which is, what I've been taught.
And this is one of, you can see really your passion and the teaching of your dad and mom now put in practice. And you are not only confined in your university, of course, and the work you are doing, but you have also embarked in a mission to change the academia and embarking and bringing together researchers, practitioners that I really want to foster the new generation and really study the sustainability movement for business for good. And I think they are started the B Academics. Why is important? What is B Academics fast? Because many people, they don't know. And why is important to this initiative?
Well, maybe I'll start with what is a B Corp. I don't know how many, but maybe they're all experts now on B Corps. And so I've been studying impactful business, sustainable business for almost 20 years now. And about 14 years ago, I learned about B corporations. And so essentially the idea is, these are companies that have measured and quantified their social and environmental impact across their stakeholders. So they're measuring to what degree am I having a positive impact on our employees, on the communities in which we operate? How are we measuring and managing our environmental impact? Are we putting in place good governance, right? Accountability, transparency, and how are we having a positive impact on our customers? And so, in this space, especially at that time, and this is still true, there's just so many different approaches, right, to ESG, impact measurement. How do we know, right, when a company really truly is sustainable, has embedded, right, purpose and impact really across their business model? And so these are companies that are certified, right? They've gone through an audit process and they are the best of the best when it comes to sustainable business. And so I got really excited when I learned about this really accessible, right, comprehensive, rigorous framework, and started, working with B Corps, learning about B Corps, teaching about B corporations about 14 years ago. And then about 6 years ago, I was really fortunate to have a colleague at NC State. So I'm on the faculty in the Poole College of Management at NC State. And so I had a colleague, Rosanna Garcia, who was also very interested in B corporations and really using the B Corp model as an opportunity to teach students, right? What does it mean to be sustainable and to have a community of businesses to look to and say, these are companies, they're not perfect, right? But they're the best and they're working to improve. And to have a community of businesses to study, right? And to think about what can we learn? What kind of research can be conducted? What can we learn from this B Corp community and this B Corp movement, right? This whole movement to transform the purpose of business. And so we were fortunate to find another colleague, Joel Gaiman, who was at the University of Alberta at the time. And together we really launched B Academics. And so we are now a global network of educators, researchers, students, practitioners, really studying the global B Corp movement and really thinking about how can we share best practices in teaching and curriculum development. How can we bring together and connect and support researchers who are working to really translate academic research so that it can inform businesses and the broader economy. Academics who are working on student-led consulting projects with B corporations. And so how can we really bring together a community of like-minded academics to learn from each other, to help accelerate that transformation of academia, and to help really accelerate the broader movement of shifting, right, from, this focus on shareholder primacy to broader stakeholder governance. And so we are now over 2,000, B academics in over 60 countries, representing more than 600 different organizations, including many academic institutions, but really, seeking to work together, to collaborate and to make the world a better place.
And it's really this spirit of community and bringing together changemaker, people that work not in isolation, but in a community. And this is also the spirit I'm trying to do with the process, giving voice to people like you that really transforming, catalyzer for change. It's really important. That's why I also joined B Academics, because I really feel that B Corp and the work you're also doing, it's so important. And you said an important point, you want to accelerate in the work and you work with students and companies. You have this global dimension working with many countries in all the continents now touching the researcher, the educator, but also you are working at the grassroots level with your students, trying to foster in the schools the leaders of the future. If you can discuss about the business sustainability collaborative and the B Corp Clinic, two initiatives that are really creating the leader of the future.
Yes, absolutely. So I mentioned I'm a professor of the practice at NC State University in the Poole College of Management. And that, I think, academic title is really important because I'm very much focused on the practice of business, right? And on really trying to create a bridge between academia and the business community, a bridge between our students and our faculty and the business world. And so another role that I have at NC State is as the director of our Business Sustainability Collaborative, which is our academic initiative that's focused on doing just that, right? How can we build a bridge between the university and our local and global business community to really help, prepare the next generation of, leaders who are going to use business as a force for good. And so the B Corp Clinic is one of our major initiatives within the Business Sustainability Collaborative. And this is actually a student consulting program that's part of an MBA Sustainable Business Strategy class that I teach. And so this is going to be the 16th semester that we have run the B Corp Clinic over the last 8 years. And every semester, essentially what we do is I'm teaching a strategy class. So students are looking at a range of different approaches to sustainable business strategy, looking at that through a functional lens, looking at sustainable supply chain management and looking at sustainable marketing, employee engagement and HR. So looking at sustainability through a range of different functional lenses. And then the B Corp Clinic is the applied, the practicum component of the class. And so every semester I'll have between 8 and 10 companies that we'll work with. And these are real world companies from here in North Carolina and also from around the world. We've worked with companies across the US, companies in Europe, in Australia. And we pair each company up with a team of 4 to 5 students. And essentially, we use the B Impact Assessment, this is a tool that B Lab. So B Lab is the global nonprofit that developed the certification, that developed this assessment tool. But we use this B Impact Assessment, the BIA, as a roadmap for the companies that we're working on in this class. And so right now, the BIA measures a company from 0 to 200, right, across their stakeholders, looking at a range, right, hundreds of different social and environmental issues. And so we essentially use this tool as an impact improvement tool. And so we work with companies that are starting out maybe at 10, and they want to get from 10 to 30. 80 is the threshold for companies to certify as a B Corporation. And so some of the companies, their goal is to become a certified B Corporation. So their goal is to get over 80. And some companies we work with, so for example, we're working with a spirits company this semester called Fair Game Beverage. And we're working with a coffee company this semester called Counterculture Coffee. And both of those companies are already B Corp certified, but they want to continue to improve. their impact. They want to continue to improve their B Impact assessment score. And both of them are also preparing for recertification because companies have to recertify every 3 years. So in the B Corp Clinic, we can work with companies from startup companies to multinational companies and really work with them anywhere across the spectrum, whether they're just starting out on their sustainability journey or whether they're already right among the leaders, the best of the best, and they want to continue to improve their impact. So it provides this incredible opportunity for students to implement, right, put into practice what they're learning in the classroom with a real world company that is seeking, right, to continue to innovate and to continue to strengthen their impact business model. And so it's a real rich learning opportunity and a win for the students and also a win for the companies.
Wow, that is so important and is something that it's really transformational for the students and for the companies. And when you were talking, a lot of ideas came also to my mind as usual. I'm a bit volcanic, so but it's really, really important. And I really liked from your word and description what you said at the beginning, the focus, the link with the practice, the link with the businesses, how we can work on that, because we really want also to make transformation. And I want to ask you if you can share some impact stories with our audience that from your wonderful work you are doing, maybe from the student side, but also from the company side, how this relationship has been beneficial.
I'll start on the student side. And I'll say our goal with the clinic, with the work that we do in the Business Sustainability Collaborative, is really focused on preparing students to go into a range of different roles. And so not necessarily all of our students will go work at a sustainable business. We've had a few instances where we've had students, right, get, find career opportunities after graduating from NC State and work with companies to actually certify as a B corporation. We've had students who've said, I want to go work at a B corporation and have focused their efforts and have gone on to work with certified B corporations. We've had many examples, I think, of students who take what they're learning through this experience, right, in the clinic, through their experience at NC State, and go and work at traditional companies and think about, right, how can I help make this company more sustainable, maybe through my supply chain role or through my finance role or through whatever, right, specific kind of business discipline I might have. For me, that's really exciting to see students, right, take this opportunity and, find a range, quite a broad range of different ways, to really put what they're learning into practice. That's more exciting for me, I think, to see kind of the broad scale of the impact. And we've worked with over 400 students in the clinic over the last few years. That's been particularly exciting to see. They're going all over the world. They're having an impact in a range of different industries and a range of different roles. I will tell one specific story on the business side. We work with a range of different companies in the clinic, but I'm probably most excited when we work with businesses that are led by our alumni. One of the businesses we worked with a few years ago is a company called Descalza, which was launched by Carolina Arias when she was a student at NC State. We worked with Descalza once she'd graduated and she was growing this company. So this is an apparel company that sources their fabrics from artisans in Latin America. The fabrics imported here to the US, and Caro works with seamstresses and clothing designers across the US. These are mostly women who are essentially running their own business out of their homes. And so they're taking this beautiful material that really represents the culture of a range of different Latin American countries. She's mostly working with immigrants here in the US, Latin American immigrants, creating this opportunity for them to have a business, to work out of their home and make these clothing. And so we worked with Caro a few years ago in the clinic to help Descalza to certify as a B corporation. And just a few months ago, I was at the B Corp Champions retreat for the US and Canada. So this is the gathering where, B Corps from across the US and Canada come together for a few days to really, share their story, learn from each other. And I saw Caro there presenting, right? The work that Discal is now a certified B Corporation. She's on the stage, right, at the B Corp Champions retreat, talking about their B Corp journey, right? Talking about the impact that Descalza is having on the entrepreneurs she works with in her network, on the customers who are buying, right, these clothing that have such a rich story to tell about the connection between the countries in Latin America and the communities here in the US. And so just to see a student as an entrepreneur we worked with in the clinic and now really being highlighted and showcased and telling her story on the main stage at the B Corp Champions retreat. For me, that's kind of a perfect kind of student company, right, scalable impact story that reminds me of why we do this kind of work. And so for me, there's 1,000 different stories, right? And then all these many one individual, really, I think, very impactful stories.
Such an inspiring story to see an alumni. Now you helped her, and now you sit there presenting to all the B Corp in the retreat. It's really something that it can be also you're proud of it and your passion and really transforming lives and how you have transformed, and I'm sure also transformation life of the people, especially in Latin America and the work she's doing in the supply chain and sourcing ethically. So it's really a transformational way that is impacting many, many lives. And thank you for sharing that. It's really this what we like, and to share and with the post really showcasing change makers. Going towards the end, but I want to ask an important question. What is the way for example, B academics and for the B Corp? Where do you want to take this institution in your work?
Absolutely. So for us, I think, in addition to all the work that we are doing, bringing academics and students and practitioners together to share best practices in teaching and research and engaging with companies, I think for us, really the next opportunity is how can we really change, right, the core of academia, right? I think we're having an impact. All the thousands of people in our network are having this very, grassroots impact on the students they teach, on the research that they're doing that's informing industry. But for us, I think our next step is how do we really transform, right, the infrastructure of academia. And one of the initiatives that we've been focused on recently is actually working with AACSB, which is the accrediting agency for hundreds and hundreds of business schools around the world. AACSB has recognized that there is a critical need to embed what they call societal impact, right? Really this idea of, right, the purpose of business to create, right, positive change, to integrate societal impact into the criteria through which they evaluate, right? And they accredit business schools. And so we've actually had an opportunity recently to be a part of the AACSB conversation around really defining, right, and creating a curriculum around what does it mean, right, to have societal impact, right, in a business school context. And I think those are the kinds of conversations that as B academics, we can really inform as we're really thinking about how do we change the core of business schools, right? How do we change how business schools are evaluated, are accredited, how they determine, right, whether they are having an impact on their students, right, on industry. And so I think we will look for more of those kinds of opportunities to really think about how do we transform the foundation, right, of business education and continue, right, to inspire and connect academics and and students and practitioners around the world to have an impact on their individual classrooms. So we're looking to both have grassroots impact to continue that, but really think about where are there opportunities to drive systemic change. And for us, that's I think a big part of our way forward, in addition to broadening our community. So I would encourage anyone who's listening to this podcast, who'd like to learn more, get involved in our work, maybe become a member of B Academics, and even like you, Samuele, join our board of directors one day. We are so fortunate to have you as our chair of membership for B Academics. And so I would encourage people just to go to bacademics.org, and you can find out all about our events, our resources, opportunities to get involved and to learn more. And I also want to mention an upcoming event that we have. So we host quarterly events on a range of topics, from education to research, to engagement, to community building. And I'm really excited that on March 9th, we're going to be hosting an event called B Corporations in the African Context. And so we'll be looking at, it's a teaching and research seminar to accelerate the transition to a new economy in Africa. And so we'll have an opportunity to hear from academics and innovators, across Africa, and really more broadly from around the world as well. And this is part of the incredible work that is being put together by our Global Engagement Committee. Because as I mentioned, this is a really critical opportunity for us to really connect academics around the world. And so I'm really excited as an African to have an opportunity to participate and help support our global engagement team in hosting this event on March 9th. So I encourage anybody who's interested from around the world in really hearing about, some really innovative teaching and research that's happening to join us for that March 9th event. And you can find out more on bacademics.org again.
Thank you so much. I mean, so many things, and really you have showed us the breadth from the global level, now focusing on particular cases, and really the work that you are trying to put together. And I'm happy and to be there to support, and because I really think that, as said, we have as Africans, and in Africa, people living in Africa, there is still here the chance to follow a new path for development, a sustainable development. We don't have to make the same mistake of the past. And I think this research seminar is a wonderful opportunity really to foster a new way of capitalism, a new way of doing business in a more sustainable way, especially with social and environmental impact that we have in our continent. So it's really important. And Jessica, if you can tell us your one final call for action. Of course, the main call is go to beacademics.org, and maybe you can sign up for the membership. So because it will be wonderful, and you will see the breadth of the work. But can you leave us with something that you want to tell us to our audience listening to us?
I would just say my final message is we all have such an incredible opportunity to learn from each other. That's what I've been trying to build with B Academics. This is, encompasses the work that I do at NC State and with the B Corp Clinic. And so, as educators, we're always students first. And I think that's true for everyone, right? We all still have so much to learn and so much to learn from each other. And so I think this podcast, what you're doing, right, is one opportunity. And so anybody who's listening, I know, right, is looking to learn and to grow. And so for me, that's what gets me excited every day, is that we all have so much potential, right, to connect with each other, to learn from each other. And so thank you for the opportunity to participate in that process, to share and to learn at the same time as well. And I just encourage everyone out there, keep learning, keep asking questions, keep connecting, connect with us, connect with each other. That's what gives me hope and inspires me every day. So thank you for that opportunity.
And thank you so much, Jessica. It's been a wonderful episode, and I'm really pleased. Thank you so much. Are you satisfied after this wonderful episode? Let's continue together our sustainability journey.